More Ubisoft on the way for today as Assassin's Creed Shadows boosts around 30 to 40 hour main campaign. Tom Ivan over VGC. That's according to the title's creative director, Jonathan Dumont, who also held the same role on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is just huge. Following 2023's Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I absolutely adored that game, which was a more streamlined action-adventure game in the vein of earlier series entries, Shadows is a more expansive RPG akin to Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. Not surprised. In an interview with Genki, Dumont also said completionists should expect to spend an excess of 80 hours with the game. This seemingly puts the game's scope roughly in the line of 2017's Assassin's Creed Origins, which was a great game. Dude, this is when we got in the reboot. Origins, I thought was fantastic. I thought that story was incredible. The way that wrapped up, you're like, oh man, here we go. Thought it was awesome. According to the game's length tracking site, How Long to Beat, Origins took around 30 hours to finish the main campaign and 85 hours to complete. The main story in 2018's Assassin's Creed Odyssey took around 45 hours to beat, while completionists spent 144 hours with the game. 2020's Assassin's Creed Valhalla, dude, I can't believe it's that long ago already, was even longer, with players taking 61 hours to finish the main story. Dude, I have 164 hours in that game. That's where I'm at with Valhalla. The game was huge. Absolutely massive. Unlike Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Shadows could receive New Game Plus mode post-release. Dumont reportedly told Genki that Ubisoft would look into adding the feature and other modes based on player feedback. Following 2 delays, Assassin's Creed Shadows will be released on March 20th, 2025 for PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. However, the game's street date was broken in late February, leading into a significant number of people being able to obtain the game nearly a month ahead of its official release. Dude, it was weird. So be mindful, leaks are out there. Michael, does this do anything for you? Are you happy with the overall length of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping more for the 25 to 30 hour range. You and I talk about it all the time. There are these times where these games are just too long.
Yep.
And it feels like, you know, we're starting to hit that like 50, 60 hour was almost like mandatory for games there for a while. So 30 to 40, I'm okay with. I rather would have had 25 to 30. I'll be curious to see when you hit to that late game, because a lot of these games are like, okay, did this really need to be here? We could have cut that. So I'm curious how filler it'll feel at times, but I think that's a fine number. I think the biggest thing for this game, right, Drew, is going to be coming off Monster Hunter Wilds. How is the performance on day one? Can we play this game on day one? Will there be patches on day one, right? Star Wars Outlaws, you were talking about it all the time. Hey, this person I know, they can't get the game to work. We need a day patch. We need a patch here. We need a patch here. That, I think, is going to be the biggest thing for Assassin's Creed Shadows. If this game launches like a Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, there's not many issues. We don't need to talk about a day one patch. Yeah. I think they're in a good spot. It's really going to come down to, can this game on release be clean? And unfortunately, with Ubisoft's track record, Drew, I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah. Like, rest in peace, Michael, if you did. That's just kind of like, I'm okay with the length. I like the length. I'm hoping. Here's my hope, right? And this is just hope. I haven't touched the game whatsoever. I haven't had hands on it yet. We've seen previews out there, and I've heard rumblings of how this is kind of going. If Shadows hits the way I hope it does, dude, I want to be there for that 150-hour mark. I want to hit the 150 hours. I want to hit the 160 hours and go, man, I had a blast. Can they do that? Dude, I don't want to be running along like back in the old days. Follow this guy. I'm like, oh, here we go again, right? Yeah. I need meaningful quests. You play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? Dude, some of the quests in there, like, go paint a cow. I'm just, like, it was an experience. I'm just saying, it was an experience. But did I really need to go paint a cow? It's this feud between these two villages. It was hilarious. But at the same time, right, it's one of those things. Are we going to get into that vein? Are we going to go get, okay, follow this guy? Back in the old days, you had to go follow someone. The minute they broke line of sight, like, you had seconds to get on top of them. It was just weird. Granted, they haven't done that in the past couple Assassin's Creeds. So it is one of those, okay, maybe we won't get that far. But I don't want to do the constant fetch quest of this, fetch quest of that, right? Those get boring, tiresome, meaningless. I want something of the Witcher quality, where you start a side quest, Dude, and it just takes you an hour to get through because you had to go do this to go do that. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is the most recent one that does that, and it does it well. I've done certain things that are like, okay, I'm wrapping up. I'm like, oh, I am not done yet. I'm still going. Right? And you're like, holy crap, that took me an hour. And I haven't even, like, it took me, there's a pivotal point in Kingdom Come 2 where your objective is just to get to the wedding. And to get to the wedding, dude, I was 30 hours before I hit the wedding. That's not going to happen here because the game is 30 to 40 hours. So that kind of makes me, what else you got in the line then? What DLC is coming down that's going to keep me coming back? New Game Plus, I don't care for. I never have. I never will. It's just not for me. I've already completed the game.
Yep.
That's how I look at it. So I already know what the story beats are, and I'm good. Yeah, you're going to come back and you're going to give me a new outfit. Big deal. I'll go check it out probably for about 30 seconds and then bounce. Assassin's Creed needs to be huge, and it needs to hit hard. It needs to be in the 90s. 9.5, 9, somewhere in around that scale. And I don't know if Ubisoft has it in them anymore to pull that off.